AITA for telling a coworker that I'll go to HR if they keep pushing the Christmas adopt a family on me. At my job, we have this annual holiday tradition where the office adopts a family for Christmas. It's a program where we, as a team, come together to provide gifts for a family in need. There's a big bulletin board in the break room with cards listing specific things the family members want or need. Stuff like a toy truck for the youngest kid, a gift card for groceries for mom, or a hoodie for the teenager. People pick a card, buy the gift, and bring it in to be wrapped and delivered to the family before Christmas. On the surface, it's a nice idea. A lot of my coworkers are really into it, talking about what gifts they picked or brainstorming ideas for items that aren't on the cards. Personally, I've stayed out of it. I wasn't participating, and I wasn't planning to. I thought I could just quietly sit this one out. But apparently, my lack of involvement didn't go unnoticed. Yesterday, during lunch, one of my coworkers, let's call her Sarah, came up to me. She started with some light chit-chat, but it quickly turned into her asking if I'd picked a card off the board yet. I told her, as politely as I could, I don't celebrate Christmas. I figured that would be the end of it, but no, she wasn't letting it go that easily. Sarah raised an eyebrow and said, "It doesn't matter if you celebrate or not. It's about giving back to those in need. Everyone should be doing their part." Now, I've been having a rough morning already, so her tone was grating. I try to keep my cool, though. I just said, "I understand, but I'm not participating this year." Apparently, that wasn't a good enough answer for her. She started pushing harder, saying things like, "It's just one small thing. You could pick the cheapest item on the board. And why wouldn't you want to help a family in need? It's not like it costs that much." She even threw in a guilt trip about how we're so lucky to have what we do, and it's selfish not to give back. At this point, I was done, but I didn't want to lose my temper, so I tried to deflect. I said, "If you feel so strongly about it, maybe you could grab an extra card." Her face immediately changed. She rolled her eyes and said, "You don't have to be such a Grinch about it." That was the breaking point for me. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "If you keep harassing me about this, it's going to become an HR issue." My voice was calm, but I meant every word. Sarah got flustered and walked off in a huff. I thought that was the end of it. Spoiler, it wasn't. Later that day, I overheard Sarah and a couple of others talking about me in the break room. They didn't realize I was nearby. I heard things like, "I can't believe she's refusing to help. It's just so heartless. And what kind of person doesn't want to give back during the holidays?" Hearing that stung. I know I don't owe anyone an explanation, but being painted as some cold-hearted Scrooge hurt more than I expected. They don't know my story. They don't know why I don't celebrate Christmas, and they definitely don't know why programs like Adopt a Family leave a bad taste in my mouth. But since you're here reading this, I'll tell you, I grew up extremely poor. And when I say poor, I don't mean tight budget poor. I mean barely surviving poor. Holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving weren't magical for me and my siblings. They were just reminders of how little we had. Thanksgiving? Just another day. We couldn't afford turkey or fancy sides, so dinner was whatever cheap food we had on hand. Sometimes, we'd get dragged to a relative's house where they'd have a feast, but that wasn't much better. Sitting there, watching my cousins eat their fill while we were too embarrassed to take more than a small serving. It was humiliating. Christmas was worse. We never had a tree. No lights. No stockings. And definitely no presents. Waking up on Christmas morning to nothing but silence was the norm for us. My younger siblings would cry from disappointment, and I had to be the strong one, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. A lot. Eventually, my mom started signing us up for programs like the one my job is doing now. Adopt a Family, toy drives, you name it. She wanted to give us at least a little piece of the holiday magic we were missing. But year after year, no one ever came through for us. No gifts, no visits, nothing. Every time, we were left wondering if this would finally be the year someone cared. It never was. And the rare times we did go to a relative's house on Christmas, it was torture. Watching my cousins tear through piles of gifts while we sat there empty-handed, hearing them ask, "What did you get for Christmas?" and trying to decide whether to lie or admit the truth. Those memories are burned into my brain. As I got older, I promised myself that I'd never rely on those kinds of programs again. No one cared about my family back then, so why should I care now? It might sound harsh, but that's the reality I grew up with, and it shaped how I view the world. My priority now is making sure my family never has to feel that kind of hurt again. My nieces and nephews, they'll never wake up to an empty Christmas. They'll never feel the way we did. That's where my energy and money go, not to strangers on a bulletin board. After hearing Sarah and the others gossiping about me, I felt this wave of anger and sadness. They don't know me. They don't know my story, but they're so quick to judge. And honestly, it's frustrating how people act like these holiday charities are the ultimate moral high ground. Like if you don't participate, you're automatically a bad person. Let me be clear. The family my job adopted will still have a great Christmas. Half the board is already empty, and people are tripping over themselves to help. My one contribution wouldn't make or break their holiday. But because I'm not participating, I'm suddenly the office villain? It's ridiculous. Also, let's be real, most people only care about giving back during the holidays. Where's that energy in March or July? Struggling families don't just need help in December. But sure, let's all pat ourselves on the back for buying a $10 Walmart gift card and call it a day. Look, I know I could have handled the situation better. Maybe I shouldn't have threatened HR. But in the moment, I felt cornered. Sarah wouldn't let it go, and I was tired of explaining myself. At the same time, I'm not sorry for standing my ground. People need to understand that not everyone celebrates Christmas, and not everyone has the same relationship with these kinds of programs. It's not their place to judge or pressure others into participating. If someone wants to help, great, but if they don't, for whatever reason, that choice should be respected. So yeah, let me know. Am I the jerk here? Or do I have a point?